Sam, you are here. Isabelle, you are there.
Fantastic.
Welcome to
Hi.
Sinister Halloween Con.
Thank you.
I hope
Hi,
you're having
everyone.
a wonderful day so far.
Oh my God, so much fun, so much laughter, and so many smiles. Oh man. Uh-oh.
Don't worry about it. They're all a little drunk, so they won't even notice. It's fine. That's what we do for every panel. We provide a little bit of liquor for them, so that way I don't feel nervous.
It's like a family holiday.
That's what we're hoping for. So let's get right into Trick or Treat, of course. Now, both of you were teens at the time. So what was that audition process like for a horror movie for a teen?
Want to go first?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I was 13 or 14 at the time when it happened, so not child enough, not like Quinn Lord who played Sam, who's like way young. And I don't know, my dad like raised me on horror movies and stuff, so it wasn't like anything had to be shielded from me in terms of adult content. But yeah, I mean, the audition was really just to act mean and act scared, so that was kind of straightforward.
Yeah, in my process of the audition, I had to cry. My audition was the scene where I'm running from the kids and crying, and I was very scared. It was my first professional audition, so it worked in my favor. I just naturally cried in the room, and they were like, great. But it was fun. It's like, I feel like maybe Isabelle, it's the same for you, but like as a teenager, you know, you have like no fear. There's no there's no inhibition, so it was easier, I felt, to be like, okay,
I had a lot of fear as a teen.
Well,
So like, you were fearless. I don't know about me.
I had a lot of fear.
I was scared shitless my entire teen years.
yeah, I think I felt like overly confident in my, maybe in just like the ability to be supported by that room and stuff, but obviously I cried, so I wasn't necessarily like without fear. That was
Now,
deceiving language.
Isabelle, you said that you were already, of course, because neither one of you were a child at the time, you were already versed in horror. Were you also well-versed in horror? Was horror something that you watched beforehand?
I was saying actually to Isabelle when we were sitting down at our booth that I convinced a friend of mine, her mother, to like rent The Exorcist for us when I was about 6. She had no idea.
That's a good 6-year-old movie.
She had no idea what the movie was, and my parents would not let me watch it. So, but we only got really through the first initial half of her peeing on the carpet, and then the mother was like, "Wait a second, this is probably not a."
This
but
doesn't seem like a religious family drama.
Exactly. But I did have a lot of exposure, like Isabelle. I grew up with an artist for a mother, so she really showed me a lot of film and cinema, and so got a lot of exposure early on. Yeah.
So, with the nature of this film being an anthology, your story is one that ties most of it together. We either see in background, or we see brought up before, brought up after. So with that vignette type filmmaking, were you able to see any of the other scenes being filmed? Were you able to work with some of the other actors that weren't directly in your scene?
That's a great question. No, a lot of it was siloed, so we shot all the kids' stuff, and then, of course, when you're a child actor, you're limited to the amount of hours you can be on set, and you also have to spend a certain amount of hours tutoring, or like doing school. So I remember being in the makeup trailer with Anna Paquin at one point, but otherwise, it was much more limited to the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had a few, like I had that opening sequence and the ending sequence where I'm walking back into the neighborhood. And so that was kind of that was like a day shot of having some exposure to Leslie Bibb and Brian Cox and also Anna Paquin, who were on set that day as well, but also pretty limited. Yeah.
So when doing the film, and the film had a, for lack of a better term, tumultuous release, that it wasn't, and then was, and then now it's considered a cult classic by many. Do you recall the first time you ever got to see it with an audience, or have you ever been able to see it with an audience?
Did we go to that
Yeah.
premiere?
Yeah. We went to a premiere in LA when we were like, I was like 16, and we got to see it in a small theater in Los Angeles, and then do like a Q&A and a panel. I just remember I got like way overly dressed up. I wore like a very sparkly sweater dress. It was hot, and it was kind of wild to see it, and be able to see like all that hard work and stuff come to fruition. But we were even commenting that like I personally was like, oh well, this is it, and nobody will probably ever see it, and that was fun. Now nobody will know what the movie is, so thank you all for seeing it and being fans. Yeah.
And actually, funnily enough, the second time I only saw it with the group is I did in undergrad like a cult cinema class, and it was part of the syllabus. But I didn't tell anyone it was a movie in my class.
Okay. I'm sorry, I need more on that. So you were in a cult cinema class as a student, and they watched a film you were in.
Yeah.
Nobody put two and two together.
I mean, thankfully it don't look very much the same without the headgear.
Well, without the headgear,
Or, like,
the alien head on top. Yeah.
No, and it was a big class, so I kind of flew under the radar, which was cool.
Did you have to write anything on it?
No, it was an option, like you could write an essay on one of the few films we saw, and I didn't choose.
You didn't choose your own film. That would have been the easiest A you ever got.
Just write a little
Dear
personal
teacher,
journal.
check out this time code. See you later.
Exactly, yeah.
Love that. So, both of you, since that film, your careers have moved you to some behind the scenes. Both of you have producer or assistant producer credits on other projects. How did those come about? Is it something you're seeking that you'd rather move to that stage? Or are you still out there auditioning and going for fun?
You, me.
The joy of a two-person question. I don't have an answer yet. You answer.
No, I have an answer. A very, very well versed response and answer. No, so I ended up going to theater school. I went to theater school in New York and studied acting for my undergrad degree. And then after I moved back to my native home of Los Angeles and was trying to do some work out there, and found that like I could work as a PA and sort of do some behind the scenes stuff as well. And so that's where those early credits sort of came from. But it was it was really interesting and helpful to see. I think I have a big, bold personality, so I prefer, naturally sometimes a little self-centered. I'll be nice to myself, but I prefer to like be in front of people, and I like to perform, and so it hasn't been as much of a thing I've developed after the fact, but it was really great to see and get to explore and have that opportunity to have that ability to work behind the camera. Yeah, but
Yeah, I kind of feel like I have the opposite thing where you know how earlier you were talking about fear and how you didn't have any?
well,
How you have no fear at all.
So we can all agree, Sam.
and I'm a
has
liar.
No fear.
No.
If you take one thing away from this panel, Samm Todd has no fear.
Please don't use that against me later. Think at a horror con that can cause
Yeah,
a lot
that's
of
true. Actually, I probably
problems.
shouldn't say that out loud at a horror convention. Never mind.
Yeah. I mean, I think when I was a kid, I had little fear, and then by the time I was a teen, I did, and that kind of tied in with acting. Like, I basically developed a lot of anxiety around acting when I became like a teen and an adult, and just stopped having fun with it. But really still loved film, and that's sort of what led me into the producing world, because I still wanted to be involved, not really in front of the camera, but more behind. So, yeah.
How does it feel where one role in one film that you didn't even know was going to come out at one point, how does it feel that it's now welcomed you into this horror community and you're part of horror icons as far as people want to come to see you from this film?
Awesome. Thank you so much, all of you. It is. It's like everybody here is, at every con that I've done or anyone I've met, everybody is just so genuinely kind, considerate, good people, and I really feel like so honored and valued that this little thing that I did when I was 15 gets to have an impact that, as a lot of people have said to me, they watch it every year. Or like they show their kids it now, which I'm like, wow, that's awesome. And that it's a part of people's traditions going forward is, I actually was talking to our director, Michael Doherty, just last week, just briefly to catch up a little bit. And he said, we made this pretty incredible thing that gets to be in people's lives. And so I'm so happy that it's made an impact for all of you and that you guys continue to want to watch it and share it and see it. Great.
Yeah, that was... all the words out of my mouth.
No fear.
No fear.
No fear, perfect words. Yeah, this is my first time at this con or doing any con, and I've been really floored by just how lovely this community is. Everyone I've talked to has been so lovely and nice. And I'm just grateful to be here and to that some of you.
Well, I'm very glad to hear that this is your first con experience and it's going so well.
It's
That's
really
great.
great.
Yeah, great. If the stars aligned and we as fans got a trick or treat too, I need to know if Rhonda would come back. Because we know at the end that look shared, the walking away, would you?
100% I would come back. And I feel like everybody needs to tell Michael that we want Samm, Rhonda back. No, but in all seriousness, I would love to do it, and I have heard the same rumors that all of you have had, that it's in the works, and it would be awesome. I think the brain of Michael Doherty is really incredible, and so would love to see how he interworks Rhonda and Samm going forward. So yes, I will do it.
You heard it here.
Yes. No.
Start the letter writing campaign right this second. Make sure that Rhonda
Isabelle, will
comes
you put
back.
that headgear back on?
Put me back in.
Put you back in.
I may be dead.
Come back as a ghost.
Well, I spoke to someone earlier, and they said that literally means nothing
Yeah.
in horror if you're dead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure every character who's ever died showed up at least one more time.
There you go.
Why not you?
One more time.
One more. Let's see if anybody out there has any questions regarding Trick or Treat. Anyone? Hand up. Wonderful. Stand up for us.
Oh. Yes, and operational, which was really, really cool. And yes, it was very fun. The whole experience of filming with other, very talented actors like Isabelle was really, really great. And at one point in the elevator, something got stuck from my co-actor, John Luke. It was a part of that chain that he's wearing because he's in that sort of zombie outfit, and it got stuck as the elevator was going up. And I remember him being like, wait, I'm trying to keep in character, but also it's moving up. And I, too, was trying to, not laugh in a very serious moment. But it was very fun and a cool operational part of the movie.
Do we have any other questions? I thought I saw a hand over here.
It was shot in Vancouver, Canada. Yeah, like a lot of other things. Yeah, I think all the quarry scenes were studio. Well, like the lower part. But we actually went to an actual quarry for the cliff part.
Yeah, and when we're walking to the quarry, that was all shot on location, a little bit outside of Vancouver.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Great place.
Wonderful. All right. So I need to know, because I know what my mentality was at the age that you filmed this movie. Was there any moments in the filming process that, watching the scene you're going to be acting in, it was frightening to you at all? Was there any, I know you have no fear, but was
No.
there
I'll
any-
take this one.
Okay.
I should
No,
not have
no.
said I have no fear. That is so
That's
fake.
okay.
Now it's with you forever. These people will all only refer to you as fearless Samm Todd.
Oh God. Why do I say whatever comes out of my mouth?
We're just happy you do. So was there anything that frightened you at all in the storyline, in the scenes that you were performing? Was there anything that you, when you dug into it, you were going, oh, that's a little anxiety-ridden for me?
I mean, the bus kids were pretty scary.
Yeah.
And I remember we had some crossover with them.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they killed me in that one scene.
Yeah.
And, yeah, that was definitely crossover.
Supposedly
Yeah,
they
who's
kill
to
you.
say?
Yeah.
Mike. Yeah, I remember when they were in costume fully. And then, you know, you see them outside in, like, the trailers, and it's not so scary in broad
Yeah.
daylight. But actually, when you shoot the scene and
Yeah.
they're, like, fully in character, that's pretty scary.
Yeah. So it's like when we were on set shooting and stuff is what you're asking,
Yes.
like
Yeah.
in the process. Yeah, there was one moment in particular where we were filming like the quarry scene where I am supposed to be running away, and I fall and I hit my head, and I think, you know, Michael, the director, Michael Doherty, was really great about trying to find ways to legitimately scare me. So instead of having it to be forced and contrived. So there was a moment where I forgot that I was supposed to be pulled down and fall into this pit, and so the scream is real. I forgot they were back there. I just remember I was, you know, having to walk backwards and having to run, and then they were going to pull me at a random point. So, but it was helpful to make it less contrived. But I was trying to like anticipate it for a bit, which I know really frustrated him.
I cannot fathom what it feels like. Maybe you can put words to it for me. What it feels like to see something as raw as a fearful scream now forever captured. It's always in that moment. As an actor, what is that where I'm watching myself act and then suddenly, oh shit, that's real?
I think there were a few moments, I think, with Rhonda specifically, where I just really wanted to be like as true as possible. I wanted to be true to her, like her social issues. I wanted to be respectful of the fact that she had these her own, you know, personality traits, and I didn't want it to seem really like contrived or over the top or really just like disrespectful, like I was playing something in a way that wasn't clear. So it was actually kind of nice. It was one of the few moments where I was like, oh, it actually showed through in a way that, you know, felt real, because it was real. But it was a moment that didn't feel as uncomfortable.
I have had the joy and honor over the last 25 years of teaching disabled adults and disabled children. And this movie most recently just got brought up for one of my students as they were looking for horror movies that they could see themselves in as a character. And she very much reminded me of Rhonda. So I said, you might want to check out this movie. She ran up to me the next day and gave me a huge hug. So that was something I wanted to share with you, because there is a representation there that goes underserved, that quite often when being played by actors without any disabilities, it is played for a stereotype. You were just an honest character throughout, and that's what she glommed onto, was how real you were. So
Very meaningful.
I'm glad that you get to see that on there as well. I saw some more people come in. Do we have other questions in the crowd before I continue? Because I'll drone on.
Who's to say? That's
Yes.
a good question.
True.
What would you like to see more?
Yeah.
Yeah, but the more important thing is there room
Yeah.
for these two?
Where do we come into the past?
And you just happen to be the same. That's
Right.
that would work.
Either work, I think. Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, they did do it with Ginger Snaps. I forgot about the third Ginger Snaps. Sorry, my brain. Do we have other questions? Yes, right over here.
Yeah, I remember a lot of opportunities to interact with the other kids on set, and even Brett Kelly, who also was in the film, who was with what is this? I'm like blanking on names. And like Quinn, and also having overlaps with like all of the. There were also other young actors who were playing some of the bus and like children on the bus and stuff. And the trick-or-treaters, and so there was a lot of opportunities for us all to intermingle and hang out, and I found it to be really fun.
Yeah,
Very
totally.
enjoyable.
Yeah.
Does that answer your question?
Wonderful. All right, did we have, I thought I saw a hand, no? All right, terrific. So as far as horror movies go and horror community and welcoming, and I'm very glad that this is your first con and it's still being good, because I haven't heard always that response from people who have been going to many cons over years as far as some fan interaction. But a fan interaction that I do like to mention, and I think it falls more for a question for you, Sam, is has anyone ever walked up to you and shown you a tattoo of you from a film?
No.
Okay, so
I
that
don't believe
hasn't
so.
happened yet. There's no Rhonda tattoos in the crowd?
I don't think
No?
so. I don't think I've ever seen a Rhonda tattoo.
Come on, you're shaking your head, but I swear you've got one.
I've definitely seen a lot of Sam,
Yeah,
but not a Rhonda tattoo.
Rude.
How rude. At least one of you needs to go out there and get a
That's
Rhonda tattoo before the next time
Yeah.
fearless Samm Todd shows up. You will?
Thank you.
There you go.
That's it. That's what I've been waiting
Man, I
for.
wish I had a tattoo equipment. I'd say let's do it now.
Oh my God, that would be awesome. But also,
You should do it.
Dad, my dad's here also.
Oh,
So
right.
it's like if I volunteered my thigh or something for a tattoo of myself, there might be some conversations after the con, but
So with conventions that you've gone to, have you ever gotten a chance to, or if you have at this one as well, gotten to talk to somebody that you've seen in numerous films that you're kind of fanning about, that you get to meet these people?
I haven't yet. I would like to do a loop today. We've just been at our table, but absolutely by the end of today. So,
I'd like to see more folks that are here. I know there's some really great people that came down, and but I have at the last con that I was at, maybe like last year. It's hard to. Time is moving a little bit strange for me, but there was. Billy Zane was there, and I don't know why he always. I really wanted him to succeed in the Titanic. I've had a little bit of a anti-hero mentality as a kid, so I always was really a big fan of Billy Zane and the Titanic, which is kind of messed up, obviously. But yeah. Too much sharing.
He's incredibly handsome. I wanted to see him not sink
I was
to
like,
the
oh,
bottom.
poor guy, he's really, he's just angry.
He's just a misunderstood rich misogynist. That's
Yeah,
all.
exactly. Give him a shot. But it was
Look how
really,
handsome.
yeah.
no one's given him a shot before. That's for sure.
All of this is sounding worse and worse the more I
It's okay.
speak.
It's not like we're recording it and gonna put it on YouTube or anything. It's fine. It's perfectly
All
fine.
just living here. Nobody talk about this outside of these walls whatsoever. But no, it was really cool to get to see him and have that exposure, and wonderful human and really nice. So great.
In this age of remakes and reboots and rebirths of franchises, is there any, because we are at a horror convention, is there any horror property that either one of you would like to throw your hat in the ring to be in that reboot or remake or future sequel or whatever they're calling it when they do legacy sequel? That's what it's called.
I think I speak for Isabelle and I when I say Trick or Treat 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 8. Maybe not 7, but
Skip
no.
7. That's
Yeah.
when they go to space.
Yeah, that one will
Nobody
be
wants to go to
weird. And no, but our own.
No, I don't know. I'm trying to think of any reboots that I truly love, because there's a lot of sort of older horrors that are so precious to me. And, like Alien, for example, is one of my favorite movies. But I don't know, it's hard to imagine it being redone unless it's a totally different spin on it or twist, if that makes sense. But, yeah, I don't know. It's a good question. It's a great question. Need more time to ponder it.
I'll ask you next time you're both here.
That's right.
There we go. Do we have any other questions? I keep trying to see out of the corner of my eye. I'm not very good at that, and I see movement. Yes, way back there.
Hi!
I like that.
I did miss the last part, which was when you watch back, do you... Oh, okay. Gotcha.
No, great.
No, that's a great question. I'm sorry, I just couldn't hear you super well from here. Yeah, I think it kind of, the whole thing feels pretty disassociative to me in a strange way. Like, I have memories of being on set, but like watching the scenes that like we're in together feel like a completely separate thing. Like, it's hard for me in my brain to connect the two. So I guess disassociative is the word that comes to my head.
Not
Like, I'm not watching myself or you. It's the characters, and maybe that speaks to the filmmaking itself and how it's its own world.
And your performances.
yeah.
Thank you, yeah.
No, yeah, I think there was a moment for me early on where I watched the film for like one of the first times with some members of my family, and the werewolf scene, I had seen them transitioning in like the hair and makeup trailer a bit and doing some of those prosthetics, but I had never seen where really it was going to go, and it was hard to get it off the page. So seeing that, I was like, whoa, this is pretty wild and awesome. And it was also a pretty interesting moment to be watching it with like a great aunt of mine there in the room. But that was really cool to see how they did that, you know.
Now, I've noticed quite often when talking to celebrities in the horror genre that started out young, that there are moments in their, as they like to put it, or as I've been told, their day lives, where people will, much like you said your college professor didn't notice that you were the one in it, that somebody that you know outside of that world suddenly realizes, wait, I see Trick or Treat every year.
Yeah.
You're in that. What is, have either one of you had that moment, and what does that moment consist of? What does it feel like?
I mean, I don't think anyone has ever stopped me on the street again without this stuff going on. And
You're saying you don't wear that headpiece to like Nob Hill or anything?
no, wow,
Okay.
crazy, I know, but I don't. There is always the weird moment though when like someone in my life will, like, I think people just Google each other. You know, like the closer you become with someone, or maybe a colleague will Google you, and that's usually when it comes up. And it's usually met with this one. Yeah.
They're like, this can't be you.
Yeah, they're like, there's no, what? Yeah, it's fun. It's a fun little party trick.
Yeah. I actually just had this happen. I got a new job, like a new day job in New York City where I work, and a colleague of mine was like, I know you. And I was like, you don't? We've never met before. And he's a huge horror fan, watches this every year, and then came up to my desk and was like, you're in Trick or Treat. That's where I know you from. And so that was like that was the first moment too where it was that thing of like, oh, I know who you are. And now we sit like, very close to each other, so it's like, hello. But it was a pretty interesting moment that just happened for me.
Wow. I'm glad that it happened right before I asked the question.
No, that's why I was like nodding, like, this is great.
Are you stuck?
Yeah.
I'm not, I swear.
Yeah.
Even if you're fearless, I'm not following you. Do we have, we're about to wrap up. Do we have any other questions right over here?
That's an awesome question.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I haven't thought about it that much. So, okay, this is sort of a bit of a tangent, but something I love doing is if you see an older movie, I love Googling what the child actors look like now, and like also just seeing what they're up to. They almost always look weird.
Good thing I have no fear, and it doesn't affect me when you say no.
But it is, you know, and then if you think about the present, like Stranger Things, for example, it's just interesting to think, like, in 10, 15 years, what are these kids going to be doing?
Yeah.
What are they going to be up to? What are they going to look like? I'd love to know.
Yeah. No, it's a great question. It's really, I've never thought about that before, so thank you so much. And yeah, I agree with Isabelle. It is really cool to be like, where is this going to go for them? And I remember at the time just feeling like, oh, this is just like how my life is going to go forever and always. And then, you know, life happens and you age weird and things shift and move, and it's like really beautiful. But it's all the things that I thought at that particular time have been able to like shift and change about like how I've thought about my own career and my own self in the world. So it's interesting to think about that as well for other stars today. Really cool.
I saw the hand of our future Rhonda tattoo owner.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
he's ready.
He's got one more question. He'll close that out.
I think there aren't very many movies about Halloween, and I think that's something that makes this so special and timeless. And of course, it is situated within the horror genre. And I'd say the other thing too that gives it a more of a unique edge is the fact that it's also a dark comedy, and I think there's some like evergreen jokes in the movie. You know, it's not like so situated in 2007, so that's contributed to it. Yeah.
I agree with Isabelle, and I also, something that struck me when we were filming and kind of continues to strike me today is, you know, the fact that there's just like a lot of varying voices in the film, and it means a lot to me that people have found a connection in some way with Rhonda. You know, like I said, just tried to frame her in a way of someone where it is really respectful of the reality of how it feels to live as a teenager with certain issues. And so anyways, I appreciate the fact that they gave a lot of credence to varying voices in the film that I think over time as well have become more normalized, us talking about those issues today, and just being able to see, like, you know, disabled actors as well who were participating in the film at the time. And that for me was pretty rare to see in 2007. And so to have those voices shown up, I think it just really plays well to where we are today, if that makes sense and answers the question.
So, ladies, gentlemen, and everyone along the gender spectrum, let's hear it for Isabelle Deluce and the fearless Samm Todd.
Oh my God.
Is everyone going to come at me with like a fake knife or something after this con?
Don't forget, if you have not already, go to their tables, buy their merch, make sure you support them so we can get them back here again.
Yeah, otherwise
Thank you
I'll
very
grow a
much.
lot of fear.
Thank you so much. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you all. Thanks, guys.